Hi, guys. Thanks for coming. I think probably the best thing just open up for questions.
Start over here to the right, Clay.
You talked about the transition from this year to next year being a mass exodus, I think is the word you used. Do you have in your head the number of juniors who might make the jump?
No, it's that I kind of do, but we're just avoiding all that conversation until focus is on this bowl game.
And how do you balance winning the game with getting those reps for replacements?
You really, the way we break down practice, we really always done this for bowl games. You get there's guys that have played, darn near 1,000 reps this year, so you don't bang too much on them. And then there's a group of young players that, the Malik Hookers and Isaiah Princes of the world that are going to be Jerome Bakers that are going to be heavily counted upon next year. So we'll keep them a little bit after. We'll also extend, if you have inside drill, for example, I don't mean to bore you, but you asked a question. We'll go 5-5 with the 1s and 2s, and then you go 15 reps with the 3s, so that you just increase those reps during bowl practice.
Front row middle, Dave.
With the success you guys had offensively against your rivals with Coach Warner coaching from the press box, do you think that's the way you're going to go moving forward, both this season and
This
next
game.
season?
This game we will.
This game? And do you anticipate any coaching changes on your offensive staff during the offseason?
I'm not sure. I think right now I don't. I'm not in that evaluation phase yet. All focus is on recruiting and winning this game.
Second row left, Ari.
Coach, you guys, when you got here, set out to keep all of the top talent in the state, and you guys have done a really good job of doing that so far. But there's been one program that's been able to come in and take guys from Ohio that you want, and that's Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Having been an assistant there, can you speak to the importance of the theology and some of the things that they have in terms of a presence in some of the Catholic schools that you guys are recruiting?
I've recruited for Notre Dame for many years, and there is a built-in, especially with a Catholic school. But they've done a good job, and the team up north. I mean, this is Michigan State. There's been some schools, and that's been the history. As long back as I can remember. You do the best job you can at locking down as many as you can. I think we've done a pretty good job, but we can always do better.
And with Chris Ash, you guys are, he's still going to be coaching through the bowl, and he's here preparing for the game and helping the team get ready. What's it like to help prepare the team with him during the day and recruit against him at night?
That's a great question. Our class is so, there's only a few spots left. A lot of the recruiting we're doing now is even for this, 17? So, I've had Tom Herman, and then I've had, Chris. I remember I had Danny Mullen when he went to Mississippi State, and many other ones, and I can't remember them all. But the one thing I always ask is just be extremely professional about your job, do what you got to do, and then because he's the most important person in all of this, people in all of this, so the players. You look at Jerry, who's giving me some of these stats, and they got a chance to win their 50th win in 4 years. So be very much a professional, and he's done that. Chris has been great.
Front row right, Rob.
Urban, can you detail your history with Greg Schiano a little bit, and how important was it, his NFL background? What does that bring to this program?
Coach Schiano and I go back many, many years. I first met him when I was at Notre Dame, and he was at the Chicago Bears. We kind of hit it off, and then our paths started going. I think we became head coaches at the same time at a very young age, too young. That was, 2001, and we just always remained in touch, and we became very close, and always had great respect for, I'd go visit his programs all the time. He'd visit ours, and actually have him say, give me a written up evaluation on what he saw from when he watched us practice, and I'd do the same, because that's how much trust I have in him.
What about the NFL?
Well, I think anytime you have a guy that, that's the catch name. That's a big part of recruiting. That's a big part of just instantaneous respect. And we'll lean on him quite a bit.
Right next, Tim.
Yeah, Urban, following up on that, what is the dynamic you expect out of the defensive coaches meeting room over these several weeks with Greg in there, I guess, now and stuff? And will he actually coach in the bowl game?
No,
Yeah.
he's not in there now. He's Luke's a defense coordinator, and did a heck of a job for us this year. Second in the nation in scoring defense. I see Greg, once Chris leaves, assuming a very similar role, that Chris was an impact hire. And as you notice, I like to have two people kind of in that room. I don't believe in dictatorships. I believe in teams on staffs too. So.
Yeah. And what made that Chris Ash, Luke Fickell thing work in your mind? Was it
Two incredible human beings, Larry Johnson, and same with Coach Combs, just incredible. That's the number one thing when I try to hire someone, is I'm looking for chemistry people, good people. A guy like Greg Schiano, you have an opportunity to hire him, you got to make it work. Now, what's the dynamics? You have Luke Fickell, one of the best people I've ever come in contact with, a very loyal Ohio State Buckeye, excellent football coach, about as selfless as the guys I've ever been around, and and he does a great job. I remember several years back, I was, everywhere I'd go, I'd just get, why are you doing this with him? Why? I'm thinking, because he's a hell of a coach and a hell of a person, and so that's what makes staffs are good people.
the other thing, you kind of touched on this a minute ago, but Bowling Green, you get your first shot being a head coach. Obviously Brian Kelly, his first job was Grand Valley State as a head coach, but he moved to Central Michigan. What is it about being in the MAC? Did it allow you to kind of spread your wings, make mistakes, but also kind of go after it in your own way? What is it about being in that league, I guess, that
Well, I remember my first of all, I remember my first press conference. I think there was two people there, and that's, to this day, that's why I thank you guys for coming. But it gave you a chance to, first of all, the MAC conference is pretty much every team that jogs out of the tunnels even, because they recruit all, you look at them and they're all the same body types, the same sizes. Some guys have a quarterback, and that's usually the team that wins in a good defense. But I just think it's, I think it's everybody. It's almost should be everybody should go coach in that conference. I remember helping pushing up our, so you can take cameras of the practice. And it's much better now. The money is much better in that conference. We had no video coordinator. The video coordinator was a student that would come by campus, and I am not kidding you, and he'd stand like this in video practice. Not, one of those big ones, but so we obviously got some things changed there. But that's why I just think I appreciate guys like Kerry Combs too, that worked his way up from ground zero, and did a great job of Coleraine. So I think everyone should go through that process.
Did Brian catch your eye? Obviously, did he catch your eye as a coach? What he did at Grand Valley State and in Central Michigan, did he catch your eye?
Sure, and then Cincinnati, because I'm an alum, and I actually went down and watched him practice a couple times, and what he did at UC was phenomenal.
Second row left, Lori.
Coach, you talk about alignment with a staff all the time. With Greg, do you think it's going to be tougher for him to get on the same page because he comes in with his own book?
Well, our books are very similar. Those books have many conversations over the years, and once again, the most important element of any hire to me is character and quality of human being, and there's none better.
Could you talk about Notre Dame and what you see in their team?
Yeah, excellent team. A couple first rounders on defense, probably more than that. Very good. You just don't see chunks of yardage usually. You find a formation, you find a situation, you find a team that had a lot of success, and very good team. Offensively, I know I haven't studied them a lot yet. Very good offensive line, that's their strength. They got a dynamic receiver. Quarterback does a nice job. He runs as well as throws, and just you got a team could be playing for the national title.
Front row right.
Urban, Cardale's kind of already suggested that he'll be gone after this year. When you look at his 4 years, so the highs and lows, I guess, what do you think, how should he be remembered if he does end up leaving?
Well, he's a national champion. He's undefeated as a starter. It'll be a story that many people talk for many years. You know, we do wish him well in his career endeavors. I love Cardale and very much appreciative of everything he's done. Once again, he's a national champion, and there's been only a few of those, or, you know, what is it, 8? Been 8 of them here, and he's one of 8. And I don't imagine there's ever been a quarterback that's undefeated as a starter. That'd be a good Jerry Emig question. Maybe Kenny Guyton.
Well, 10 or more starts, no.
Kenny Guyton.
Kenny Garrett.
But
Oh, 10 or more starts.
we got a couple of 2-0 guys, but 10.
Smooth Jazz made his way in our press conference today.
And you were asked earlier about, changing things up for the last week of the season with your offensive staff, and you're going to stick with that at least for one more week. What was kind of the motivation for that, and how difficult had been the communication throughout the year as you tried to replace Tom?
It was not easy. I think Ed Warner, you can't, to coach all 5 guys and to be able to have significant input in the play calling is, it's just you need a stable, and Tim Beck and him that was a pretty good setup in the final game.
Far left over there, Doug?
But I think you mentioned how in the playoff era now, there's just such focus on sort of those 4 teams, and you guys lived it. Now, you guys aren't in the playoff. I mean, this is, it's always been an issue when you go into a bowl and maybe you're not a national championship. Will your team be where they need to be ready to play in this game? Is that a concern at all?
Well, there's indicators. I mentioned that throughout the course of the year. What are indicators of a team that's entitled? What's an indicators of team that, when you're defending national champ, when you're this? Well, academics and effort and those type of things. And we had a great indicator. And that was we got on buses for 3 hours. We went up to a team that doesn't necessarily have a lot of affection for Ohio State and played as hard as we possibly played and won a game against a very good team. So that's a very good indication of what kind of human beings we have on this team. And so I would anticipate that we'd play our tails off.
And when you look at the season that JT had, still has, did he get better, you think, this year? I mean, he was so good last year, in the first time he ever played. Is he a better quarterback now? Did he back up in any way? Is he pretty much the same? How do you think?
I think the way he's finishing, he's I haven't evaluated that yet. I think his injury did, setting him out of spring practice, was not JT of himself and during summer. And then obviously the dual situation we were playing with. So I think any time that you are the starting like next year, as a starting quarterback, I would anticipate a nice gradual incline of his during the season.
Third row left, Eric?
How's the health of the team right now? I know that some guys like Paris Campbell was bound with some stuff pretty much all
Paris
season.
is fine. I think we're good.
Is there any, obviously the Dolphins can't play, but what does that do for your depth at the defensive line position?
Yeah, Tommy Shutt also hurt his foot. I don't know how bad yet, but that's we got depth issues inside right now on defense. But that's Mike Hill's been playing pretty good. You got Joel Hale, you got Donovan Munger. There's another guy in there. Sprinkle's actually been playing much better, so it'll be a rotation. And then Joey Bosa goes in there quite a bit too.
What did you say about Schiano?
He's not quite sure what it is.
Back row middle, Steve?
Hey, Coach,
Last question.
I know that on the teleconference you talked about your experience at Notre Dame. I was asked to ask you this question. Just Notre Dame spiritually, football-wise, career-wise, what did that whole experience mean to you?
Game changer. It was when Lou Holtz made the call. I was in Fort Collins, Colorado, and asked me to join the staff at Notre Dame, and that was a game changer. And I remember walking through that campus, and probably one of the greatest things that I remember is my son was baptized in the log chapel, the original building there. Father Reilly, who passed away, was one of my dear, dear friends. And then also my mom was diagnosed, was the second or third time that it came back. And I remember going to the grotto every night for, had to be 4 years on the way home from work. So special place, and has a special place in my heart.
And final questions, second row, right here, Dave.
I know things have worked out with you at quarterback, but what do you remember about the recruitment of Deshaun Kaiser out of Toledo? Were you guys close to pulling the trigger there?
Yeah, real close. I can't remember exactly. Tom, I remember, is more involved in that, but yeah, we liked him.
What have you seen from him in kind of the bits and pieces you've...
A big dude that runs well and throws well. Yeah, he's done a very nice job for him.
Great. Coach,
Thank
very
you.
much.